Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to One Piece 976. Allow me to introduce myself, where I think it's called begging your pardon, referring to the end of the chapter where someone begs everyone's pardon to allow him to introduce himself. So this chapter wasn't that great. I thought it was okay. There was something that happened which I really think shouldn't have happened, with the presence of all of the samurai, with the presence of Law's crew, Kid's crew, Luffy's crew, people like Sanji, people like Usopp, people like Law with Room. Really, this one thing shouldn't have happened. Actually, a couple things shouldn't have happened, and I was like, I'm not a big fan of that, Oda, for once. The rest of it was okay. It just wasn't very. Wasn't very hyped. The introduction to the character we got at the end, that also wasn't very hyped. So I'm just like, maybe it's just me. Maybe other people were really hyped up by this. I haven't checked any of the Reddit comments or any comments really on this chapter. This is just purely me. But the first part of the chapter is just the Red Scabbards kind of toying with Kinemon, saying, "Did you actually really know that that we weren't supposed to be at Tokage Port? That everyone else wasn't supposed to be at Tokage Port? Was that something that you honestly thought about and you knew about?" And he's just there like, "Oh shit, you know what? I might actually die now because I've used up my entire life's worth of luck." Basically, telling his boys, telling the Scabbards that no, I had no idea. But he has to make it look like he had an idea. So everyone else is like, "Yeah, Kinemon, you're our leader," and and you see Law just saying, I think it's Law anyway. He's like, or it might actually be the rest of the Red Scabbard saying, "You didn't just spend your own luck; you spent all of our luck. Like you've spent everyone's luck on your mistake just then." There, you have the Scabbards kind of just rallying behind Kinemon there, even though they kind of found out about his stupidity. They do say, "We're not going to allow you to die alone." We have Kikunojo saying that Inuarashi, Ashura Doji is all cool, and once again you have Denjiro riling everybody up. Raise your sword up, Kinemon. We're gonna win. We've won this first battle. Let's go to Onigashima and kick the shit out of these guys. We then see Kawamatsu. Well, actually, we see Kaido's crew. They talk about preparing the cannons and how this is only a war. They have a warship, and everybody else has like these tiny little boats. We should be able to kick their asses. So this is the first part of the chapter I didn't like. We see Kawamatsu dive into the ocean and then jump out of the water towards Kanjuro, who is drawing something on the ground. It looks like a giant swan-like thing. I'm not. There is an actual name. It's like a crane, but it's not quite a crane. Is it a crane? I don't know. But he leaps out at what's his face, Kanjuro, and they engage in like a very short skirmish. And they're holding his own. Now we have to realize that Kanjuro is probably many times more powerful than we've seen. I can assume that just because first he was able to block Kawamatsu, but also his drawings are much better, and what we see of him later on in this chapter is a lot more powerful than we've ever seen him. So Kawamatsu saying he won't let Kanjuro escape with Momonosuke, and even though he says this, I'm not sure what the wait time was in between, the drawing being on the floor and it rising out of the floor. It usually takes like a couple seconds, but in those couple seconds, apparently Kawamatsu wasn't still raining down on Kanjuro, and allowed him to not only board this crane or swan, whatever it is. I think it looks like a crane, but he boards the swan. The crane, and he flies away with Momonosuke. And I was like, but Kawamatsu was right there. They were fighting. Like, Kawamatsu is not some weakling. He would not have allowed that to happen. Kawamatsu would have continued to fight him, not allowing him to get onto the crane. I understand he wouldn't have been aware of this crane rising up and having the power of flight, because usually Kanjuro's drawings are shit. Maybe he's never had something that can actually fly. Even though I seem to recall a bird being created at one point. But for Kawamatsu to have allowed this to happen, I think is a really, really big oversight. Not even necessarily an oversight. It's just allowing something to happen in a story just because the plot needs to go that way. I think Oda's done that in this situation. I've never been a fan of that. If a character can stop something and chooses not to because the story has to go in that direction, that's a shit way of storytelling, and I don't like that. So the fact that Kawamatsu wasn't able to stop Kanjuro, I was like, that's number one bullshit right there. And Kinemon gets on Kanjuro's case about, you only drew us some rotten designs and shit like that, and now you have this freaking dope ass looking bird that can actually fly. The heck is this? So Kanjuro flies away, like, ha ha ha, you're never even going to make it to Onigashima Port, ha 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 ha, and then he just flies away. And all the while, you see Momonosuke talking about how he's afraid of heights. Luffy has no idea what's going on. He's looking up like, Kanjuro, Momonosuke, where the hell are you guys going? Sanji and Robin very quickly clock on, which I thought was cool, that Kanjuro is the spy and that they have to go and clap his ass. And once again, Chopper also clocks onto that, with Luffy being shocked at the idea. So this is the second part I really didn't like. You see Usopp, he's like, I'll shoot him down, proceeds to not shoot him down. You see Sanji using his skywalk to chase after Kanjuro, and we know how fast Sanji is both in the water and in the air. He's rapid. Sanji is immensely fast, and he's also meant to be very, very proficient in Kenbun Shoku no Haki. Luffy's meant to be proficient in Kenbun Shoku no Haki. So we see Kinemon saying, I have a bad feeling about that cloud. It's going to be something that he, is one of these hidden skills, one of these hidden talents that he hasn't shown us before. Once again, that's cool. And I thought this devil fruit ability was awesome from Kanjuro. His hair turns into this ink cloud. He calls it Sumigumo, cloud of ink. And it rains down like these incredibly heavy ink arrows. And you see how impactful these things are. They fall from the cloud, and they have enough velocity and enough mass apparently to just shatter straight through some of the boxes on the ship, and they're damaging people. They're damaging the samurai quite badly. He calls it Ukiyo Yudachi Izu, which, according to the non-official translation, is illustration of evening showers of the fleeting world. I was like, yo, goddamn, that's a long ass title for an attack. No wonder why he doesn't use it that often. But anyway, the ships are all they all turn away to try and escape these arrows, essentially, with Momonosuke telling Kanjuro, like, you're killing everyone, stop it. And obviously that's Kanjuro's kind of intent. But what I disliked here was, instead of dodging them in the air, which Sanji is completely capable of, he had enough time and enough speed to go back to the ship and cover Nami from the arrows, rather than go and save Momonosuke. What? I looked at that and I was like, no, there's Nami. I understand she would have got hurt, possibly a couple scars here and there, but Usopp is there, Frankie is there, Luffy is there, Zoro's there. Everyone who can protect Nami is there. Sanji didn't need to go back. Even Robin could have protected Nami. Nami could have protected Nami. But what Sanji chose to do here is, the one person who can't protect himself, Momonosuke, and who's the most valuable in this situation, who holds the most political power, Momonosuke. Who do we actually need to be in charge of? The child, Momonosuke. He chooses to deprioritize him and prioritize Nami, and I was like, that's number one bullshit. Sanji, for the intelligent character he is, he knows the weight of Momonosuke. He knows the weakness of Momonosuke. And he chose to leave him behind. This is a huge, and this might even be an oversight on Oda's part, allowing the story to unfold in the way that he wants it to be told, i.e. they're going to have to go and retrieve Momonosuke later. I think this was just a really bad way of doing it. Sanji is not the character that would have allowed something like that to happen. And then, like I said before, Usopp, I understand this ink cloud came up, but the way it was drawn and the way I think it's going to happen is, this is an attack that takes a little bit of a few seconds to appear, because he has to allow his hair to kind of draw that ink cloud and then allow it to rain. It doesn't start raining instantly. So Usopp would have had a couple chances to snipe our boy Kanjuro. So I feel like this was, once again, I didn't like the fact that Oda let these characters be negligent in order to let the story go the way that he wants it to go. Obviously, his story, like I said before, but you can't just say that your characters who are completely capable of doing something are incapable of doing something just because of the way the story is going. So I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit. We then had this cool bit where Momonosuke, he kind of stands up in the face of his fear. Kanjuro's telling him that, you have all these samurai, but you're here, this empty coward of a child. You're scared of heights. You're nothing like basically your father. You're nothing like these hardy samurai. Momonosuke makes mention of the fact that he knows that he's nothing like his samurai or his father. And he shouts down to everyone. He's like, don't worry about me. The enemy wants you to be worried about me. I'll get out of this on my own. I want you to defeat Kaido and Orochi. So I thought that was a really good coming of age kind of moment for Momonosuke. And you see he wins the approval of not only his samurai, who would have followed him into hell without him having said that, but now that he said that, they have that kind of, he's worthy of our Lord, that acknowledgement. But even Luffy acknowledges him, saying, you know what, you're a kid, you're a whiny kid, you're a scaredy cat. You look like a samurai, but you're not quite there yet. But that was well said. Good job, Momonosuke. And I'm going to come save you. I'm a promise to save you because we're friends. And you see Momonosuke just nodding as he's being flown away into Onigashima. But that was, I think I've dedicated a lot of this review so far, 10 minutes so far, as to why I didn't like that. I thought that was a really stupid way. You know, Momonosuke should not have been that easily confiscated. Like, I'm just going to put that out there. You guys can disagree. You can either agree. But I don't agree with the way that happened. And everyone just seems to be pretty calm about it. Luffy and his crew, they're like, yeah, it's cool. Kinemon and his boys, they're like, yeah, it's cool. You know, I presume that Momonosuke won't take his life. And I was like, but why though? Like, you guys tell me. Maybe I've misread something. Maybe I've completely not read something. Why would they not take Momonosuke's life? You heard Kanjuro in this chapter, in the first few pages, he says, as he's evading Kawamatsu, now that I know that Hiyori is alive, I'm going to kill her too. Suggesting that he's going to kill someone prior to her, i.e. Momonosuke. But he doesn't kill him as he's flying away. And he, according to Kinemon, they're all pretty sure that he's not going to have his life taken by anybody on Onigashima. But why? If anything, that would be the statement of the century by Kaido, by Orochi. Oh, we've just beheaded your future future shogun. What are you guys gonna do about it? They might not get to Hiyori. I doubt they'll have access to Hiyori. But we beheaded Momonosuke. What are you gonna do about it? I understand that's not the way this manga goes, and you know it's never been that dark where a child's been beheaded or anything like that. But realistically speaking, why would they not? Why they have no, Momonosuke holds no value to them unless maybe he holds some secrets about Zou, or maybe he knows some things about the red poneglyphs, or maybe even something to do with Roger that Kaido wants to know about. But other than things we possibly don't know that they hold value in Momonosuke 4, if I was in Kaido's position or in Orochi's position, take off his head. I would just, it would be the only choice, and that would be the most easy way to demotivate and demoralize the entirety of the samurai. Kinemon, Kawamatsu, everyone they would drop to their knees if they saw his head on a pike, Game of Thrones style, outside of Onigashima. That would be game over for them. You know, we failed to protect our lord, we failed to protect his son. What are we worth? We're worth nothing. That would be like seppuku on the spot for all of these guys. That would be game over for them, and it would just be Law, Luffy, and Kid versus it would just be pirates again. That's my opinion. You guys can once again let me know what you think. I love the bit with Law and the samurai. He's like, yo, this ain't no hotel, get off my ship. And they're just like, thank you for your hospitality. Kid's more concerned about falling behind the Straw Hat, so he wants to stay ahead of them. Until suddenly all these samurai ships are being sniped by these long distance cannons that Kaido's warship has, and they look pretty cool. They're like sniper cannons basically, designed by the people of Wano, so they're excellent quality thanks to all the factories that they have. And while all this is going on, you see Luffy, Law, Kid, they all have their own separate reactions. Law's like, oh shit, we really should have thought of this prior to them sniping us. Luffy's like, full steam ahead, we need to break it down. And Kid's like, I don't give no shits about the samurai boats. That's not our problem. Let's go ahead and kill them. So you see the difference in character between all three of them as you continue through this. And then we get the introduction of the last person. You see the ship with the long distance cannons get hit by a move called Yari Nami, Wave Spear. And then you see part of the ocean just pierce straight through the ship, and the ship collapses in on itself, not really in flames, but it's leaving behind some smoke, so it must have been a flame at one point. And you see this person introduce themselves apparently in a way belonging to Yakuza, a particular posture. And I knew it was going to be straight away. You see a Yari Nami, there's only one fisherman who's going to pop up anywhere near this area. The one person who actually said he'd get there, it was obviously Jinbei, and he goes through this whole monologue. I came from, the bottom of the sea, Ryugu Kingdom, Fishman District. You see Luffy and his crew going apeshit that, Jinbei's here. He talks about how he's shared a cup of sake with the Straw Hat Captain. He introduces himself as a new recruit, the first I think is it first born of the sea, first knight of the sea, I think it is. And he refers to himself obviously as Jinbei. I love the fact that both Law and Kid are shocked here. Law's like, oh my god, no way. And Kid's just like, really? He's joining the crew. So Kid's really, really competitive. He wants to be better than Luffy in every way. And he's just taking a hit to his pride that Jinbei, a Shichibukai that everyone's heard of, is joining the Straw Hat Pirates. So I liked that Jinbei was here. What I didn't like was that it was a little bit of a, it wasn't an epic introduction. I was hoping that we'd get clues of Jinbei being there, but much like the intelligent person we know he is, I was hoping he'd be helping in the shadows, until he was really needed. Then he'd pop out and be like, "Surprise, mother cheddar!" But it was nothing like that. We see his bounty, 438 million berry. He's referred to as the helmsman of the Straw Hat Pirates. So everyone's celebrating. Luffy's got stars in his eyes. Jinbei's back. So I'm happy that Jinbei's back. I was hoping his introduction could have been more epic. I forgot to actually mention the long distance cannons. That's another part of the chapter I didn't like. But maybe Jinbei got there faster, so maybe this isn't as much of an issue. But once again, Usopp is there. Snipe these mofo's, man. You got Frankie with his own laser cannons. He could probably help out a little bit. Maybe you got Sanji with his blue walk, with his skywalk. Sorry, help a brother out. Everyone's getting sniped. Maybe they were just making sure to stay confined to their own ship. I'm not sure if the ink arrows were continuing to rain down on them, so they were all staying inside. I'm not sure exactly how that goes down. But once again, I feel like they were, Law could have extended a huge ass room to just tacked those cannonballs back towards the ship. I feel like there are a few different things that could have gone down here if characters were given the capabilities that they usually have. It just didn't happen that way. I was more annoyed about the Momonosuke issue than really the long distance cannons issue. But that's the end of the chapter. I thought it was okay. It wasn't the greatest, but it is what it is. So let me know what you guys thought of the chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will see you guys tomorrow or Tuesday, actually. I think tomorrow, Monday, might be a One Punch podcast. So be aware of that. But Tuesday then for My Hero Academia, which was actually a really good chapter. But I'll speak about that when we get to it. So I'll see you guys in a bit.